listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation Podcast. As always, your guy Pat Lane here with my man Matt St. Jean, and today we are joined by a very special guest, one of our favorite guests, and that, of course, is Murph coming to us from Connecticut. Murph, thanks for joining the show, sir. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, guys. It's been a rough month.
Yeah,
It's been a rough month for me. So, this really picked me up when you guys asked me back on. It's always a blast coming here with you guys. For those that don't know it, I had 5,000 Twitter followers put on waivers about 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
I have no idea why. They won't get back to me, and we're just out having fun. And thank you guys for asking me on tonight.
Yes, of course.
Gotta build the audience back up.
That's
There
right.
you go.
That's right.
There you
Go follow
go.
Murph at what is it? What is it? Murph now? Murph
T-Murph,
207S.
yep. Yeah, T-Murph 207S. And got the
There
S
you go.
last we got the last S on there for savings because I will not pay Twitter a dime for
That's
a
right.
check.
That is correct. That is correct.
Uh,
One thing I have to get off my chest, and I think it's a perfect. It's not football related, but I think it's a perfect time to bring it up, Murph, because you are our favorite green friend,
thank
and
you.
it directly involves your green friend's counterpart, the Red Hulk.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh.
and it is my gripe with Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
showing too much in the trailers. Stop stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yep.
Like, I don't understand. Listen, maybe you haven't seen, and based on the box office, not many people have seen it. The new
No.
Captain America movie, the entire the flipping movie poster has the Red
Yeah.
Hulk on it. It's the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
Why are you giving away the end of the movie? What are you doing? It's so frustrating, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's brutal.
It was terrible. What it ended up being is we thought it was going to be another Captain America movie, and it ended up being the sequel to The Incredible Hulk.
Right, with all
And
different characters.
with all different characters. And Harrison Ford, please retire. Please, just stop.
I
Just
actually thought he was.
stop.
I actually liked Harrison Ford in it.
I just couldn't take I just couldn't take the general without his mustache. I know they
Yeah.
tried to explain it and everything, and yeah, of course I was there opening night,
Oh, me
but
too.
they made it out to be a Red Hulk movie, and we didn't get anything until the last 20 minutes. It was just setting up, there's all kinds of convoluted, things with the studios and whether they can make a stand-alone Hulk movie and they can't, and they've got to do it in this way. And I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I went in with low expectations and I came out with a smile on my face. And it was a nice day with my oldest son Spawn. And so no, you're right. Please with the trailers, you're
Well,
right.
that's and listen, it's not just Marvel movies. One of my
No.
favorite movies of all time, 1917, is like one of the best war
Ooh.
movies ever made.
Yeah, ever made.
And the end of the movie, he gets out of the trench and runs across, and it's like this unbelievable moment of like,
Yep.
oh my God, I can't believe he did that. And
Yep.
they put it in the freaking trailer. And
Trailer.
it's like, what are you
What?
doing?
Yeah.
That moment would be so incredible
Mm-hmm.
if everyone didn't know what was
Saw
happening.
it for the first time right there in
It's
the
just
theater. You're
that stuff is
absolutely
so
right.
frustrating.
You're
And it's just
absolutely
like,
right.
don't give away the best parts of the movie before we
That's
see
it.
the movie.
Nobody saw Sonny Corleone get shot in the trailer.
Right. Right. That's the whole point.
That's
It's
the
like,
point.
So you guys can be like me. I just don't watch trailers.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, they used to actually have a TV show on with trailers that we'd watch every Saturday right before Siskel and Ebert.
Yes.
And nowadays it's just they're just everywhere. You can't ignore them. They are. And also, if while we're on the movie kick, if you're a member of the Academy and you couldn't make time to watch Dune, you should not be a member of the Academy.
I mean, it's just
All right?
yeah.
People actually came out
Gross.
and said, I didn't have the time to watch Dune.
Yeah.
You disgust me. And turn it in. This is worse than some of the guys who refuse to publish their Hall of Fame ballots.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. No, that the Oscars is a joke. I can't
Yeah,
even with
it
them.
is.
It's
Can't
ridiculous,
anymore.
but
Can't anymore. My wife.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never understood the point of that for like music or TV shows or movies or anything, because like it's entirely subjective.
it
Yeah.
is.
Just
Yeah.
like watch
You
the
know,
things that you
and
like
then
watching.
there's like the SAG Awards where everybody's just patting themselves on the back.
Well,
Pat
it's
their best
funny. I mean, you always have it's the famous thing where like Saving Private Ryan doesn't win Best Picture and Shakespeare in Love wins instead. And you're
Right.
like, who
Oh my God.
enjoyed Shakespeare in Love more than like what are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's just insane.
No.
And it's like it's that type of stuff where you're like, this is just dumb,
Yeah.
But
I will say, going back to the trailers real quick. My girlfriend's never seen Good Will Hunting.
what?
So
What?
I pulled it up. And just to like show her the trailer for it. And
Yeah.
it's funny that it's like the original trailer.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like when it comes to like spoil, like it's just the entire movie cut down to like a 3-minute synopsis. Just
Okay.
and they just
Yep.
like narrate and tell you everything that happens.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man.
Oh my God.
Well, I will say that's an indie movie, so like maybe they have to sell it, I guess. I don't know. That's in my top 15, 20 movies ever.
Yeah. Definitely
great movie.
top 10 war movies of all time.
Yeah.
So that's it. But this is a Patriot show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into some Patriots talk. I just had to get that off my chest. I was so
No,
upset. And I was
brilliant. Yep. And
perfect
here's
timing
Murph.
with-
So let's
with
talk
Murph
about
coming
the
on.
Hulk. Red Hulk.
So, man, the Patriots. Listen, the Patriots fan base. We are teetering on the edge of destruction right now.
Yep.
The fan base has lost their mind.
Yep.
I saw a meme
It's
today.
over, and free agency hasn't even opened up yet.
Right. I saw a meme today of like someone posted like Mike Vrabel turning into Gerard Mayo. Like we're not
Yeah.
even at free agency.
Oh,
yet.
come
Like,
on.
it's insane. And so it's like, it's just listen.
I don't know, Pat. It's been months now and he hasn't won a football game.
That's a
Right.
great point. That's a great point.
Actually, it's been years.
0 wins.
It's been years since he's won a football game.
That's a good point.
So, but there hasn't been any losses in that point in time either.
Well, that's also
and-
true.
And
Point in his
I am looking forward to all of this, even though Mike Vrabel was not my first choice.
Yeah, well, and mine neither, right? But my thing is this, right? Is that when I look at it, I saw the Joe Tooney thing today, and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
The fact that they weren't willing to part with a 4th-round pick in 2026. Now, listen, I think the argument that Matt's going to make, and Matt, I'll let you make the argument, so I won't make it for you. I wasn't happy about it.
Yep.
I didn't love the fact that they were just completely out on Christian Kirk. Now the rest of the league was also completely out on Christian Kirk because like the Texans gave him nothing for him. So It's not like anyone else offered anything either. So it's not like there was a bidding war for him. But it's like when you start seeing guys get moved, and you're not part of it and you need everything and there are decent players getting moved, it's frustrating.
I will say first on the Joe Tooney thing, I love Joe Tooney. I would love to see him back in a Patriots uniform.
Yep.
Do you think it's worth remembering that he's currently only under contract for this season? I think the cap hits $15.5 million. So,
Yes.
Not cheap.
Nope.
And he's 33. He'll be 33 for this season.
Yep.
So
He's coming off
two
Pro Bowl appearances back to back.
Great player.
Yep.
If that's who he continues to be, I would love to have him in New England. Right now, when you're trading for him, you are getting a 33-year-old guard on a not cheap contract for 1 year. And I understand why, if you're the Patriots where you are right now, you're not super interested in that because you're about to go into free agency where you can get a guard for a longer term and lock up the position for longer. You're going to go into a draft where you can draft
Right.
players who you think can fill that role. And I know it's frustrating to watch veterans go get acquired with draft picks and say, why can't we just go do that? But there's no way to be a good team unless you draft well. So at a certain point, you got to keep draft picks and nail them.
If the Patriots go out and sign Macari on the first day of free agency, I'll be okay with this. Okay, until then, I don't have to be, and I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
Joe Tooney is without a doubt the best undrafted free agent in Patriots history. He might be the most decorated undrafted free agent in NFL history.
Well,
Joe Tooney's not an
that's-
undrafted free agent.
That would be true, except he was drafted in the fourth round, I think.
Or was he?
Second round.
Why did I
No,
think
he wasn't
was-
drafted in the second round.
No.
It was
He
either
might-
the
might
second
be the
or
third. It
Okay,
might be the third. It's definitely not the second.
I'm sorry. Okay, I completely screwed that one up.
That's
I
all
was
right.
third.
It sounded great.
77. It was,
Yeah,
it
it
was
did.
high
It sounded
third.
really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
so
the hell am I-
77. They have a seventh round pick. They have
Who the
they
hell?
have number 77 this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay. All right. Who the hell was I thinking of? Not
I
Matt
don't know.
not Matt Chatham, but it was
Stephen
somebody.
Neal?
Stephen
I don't
Neal. Because Matt Chatham came here after signing somewhere else, and then he was
David-
Yeah.
David Andrews was an undrafted free agent.
That's
That's
true.
it. That's what
Yeah,
I was
there you
thinking of. I apologize.
And listen, I mean, I think it would have been a nice full circle moment, right? You feel like that's one of the areas where when they started to fall off, where Belichick lets him walk for nothing.
Yeah.
He goes to Kansas City.
After
They said
franchising him.
Jason McCourty, I believe, said that he has played in more Super Bowls than he has missed games in his career.
Yeah. That sounds
Wow.
He's played in 4 Super Bowls and missed 2 games.
Yeah.
So like, it's just, that's the level of play. No, I'm sorry. He's won 4 Super Bowls and missed 2 games.
Right.
But he's played in
5 or 6, 7.
I think.
6.
He's played in 6.
He played he played 2 with Kansas City and
No,
4.
3 with Kansas City.
3 with Kansas City. Man, damn.
And 3 in New England. Yeah.
3 in New England, 3 in
Damn.
Kansas City. It's crazy.
16, 17, 18. Yeah.
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 Do you
That's
think he's
insane.
Do you think he's a guard going to the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think I don't know. It's hard to know, but I wouldn't see why not. He's an unbelievable player,
Yeah.
but
Two-time first team All Pro, 2-time
Yeah.
second team, 3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I think that he won't be like a first ballot, but I think he'll end up making it.
and I also think too, when you talk about the Patriots went to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, and he was the best offensive lineman on both of those teams.
Right.
On all 6 of those teams, he was the best offensive lineman. So like, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
And if he came back
Incredible.
here, he might be the second best offensive lineman.
Right. Yeah. And so I think ultimately, Matt, you're right in the fact that I'm okay with it as long as they address it. If you want to tell me they
Right.
sign Tevin Jenkins to like a 4-year deal, or with decent money but not crazy money, or they sign
Trey Smith.
Macari, or Trey Smith got franchised by.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trey
Thank
Smith
you.
got
This
franchised by
is the show
Chiefs.
that's going to correct all of my overtime that I've been putting in at work. Thank you.
So, but it's as long as you bring someone in, I don't mind it.
Okay.
But it's a question of
You're right.
like you can't miss, you can't not address it.
No.
It's got to get addressed.
I will
Yeah.
say, I think they have a little bit of a window to address this because, like, if you look at the thing, like, it's a 4th round pick next year, and it's also Tooney has 1 year left on his deal.
Right.
The reason why you don't do this if you're New England is you don't want to be in a spot where you trade for him and he's great for you for a year,
Mhm.
and then you can't agree on a contract and he walks, and now you're out the 4th round pick you would have used to try to draft a replacement. And
How well's
You're
that
ju-
gone?
draft.
How well have they done? How well have they done drafting guards in the 3rd and 4th round over the past 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, not good.
Not
good.
great, but
See,
you gotta.
Bill Belichick
gotta-
made hay for years drafting offensive linemen in later rounds or late in the 1st round or early in the 2nd round because other people ignored those positions. Nobody does that anymore.
I also think part of that and I might be wrong about this. I think part of the reason why they were always so good at drafting those offensive linemen in the middle rounds is because they had Dante Scarnecchia,
Yeah.
and they could
Yeah.
make those guys good players, right?
They-
Where some teams can't do that, and I
Yeah.
think that makes a huge difference. Now we'll see how the offensive line is coached this year, but I like Doug Marrone. I think Scar he's not coaching, but he is kind of on the fringe, kind of there consulting. So like my hope is that they're able to find someone again. Again, I like Tevin Jenkins. I think Tevin Jenkins makes a lot of sense. He's not going back to the Bears. He's definitely going to be, going to be available. And I do think like, all right, you're going to have to pay to get him, but you're not going to have to pay an exorbitant amount to get him. And so, that, I don't know, that for me, that's what I see. And I think, all right, can we bring in a guy that's a decent player at left guard?
Right.
And the big one for me is going to be really is Ronnie Stanley. You just got to throw an absolute
tackle,
bag at
yeah.
Ronnie Stanley.
All right.
Now,
I've got a little problem with all the Ronnie Stanley love. I really do. Stanley has played 850 snaps once since 2019, and it happened to be in his walk year. All right. I'm not questioning the talent. He's a mammoth man. He deserves every dime that he gets. It just gives me pause with his injury history. And one of the guys that I'd like to see and I know a lot of people out there watching are going to cringe, but I'd like to see them go back to Pittsburgh and throw a bag of money at Dan Moore. All right. I know he is just outside the top 10 in pass block. He's also played 1,000 snaps in each of his 4 seasons in the NFL. Like Pat said, you can't miss here. And I just don't know if throwing this kind of money at a man, and not to mention Moore is a generation younger, to throw this kind of money to draw him to New England where there's not a lot of chance of winning a Super Bowl within the next 2 years. I just get, I got paid, let's shut it down vibe. I really do. I don't know him personally, so I can't, hang that on him. It's just something that I worry about. And like I said, Dan Moore is out there every single snap of every single game. He doesn't miss time. And while it's not a sexy name, it's a safe name, and you can't swing and miss here. And I don't want to go into the draft needing that.
I do think Moore is probably an upgrade. I mean, this is just kind of, how much risk are you willing to take on and what type of risk? Are you willing to take on injury risk? Then you're okay with Stanley.
Yep.
If you're more willing to take on, where we know we're not getting a top flight tackle, but at least he can play, then you go the other direction. I'm okay with Stanley just because I think the term will be short enough that if he just the injury issues pop up again, you can move off of him quickly to another option. But yeah, you're shopping in free agency for left tackles. The only guys who get here are guys with problems.
Right.
Ronnie Stanley is a very, very good player who's not been healthy consistently. Cam Robinson is a guy who I think is a bigger name than like his ability says.
Yeah.
Like he's a name, but I don't know if he's actually that good.
Yeah, he's fringy.
Yeah, and then Dan Moore is fringy.
Yeah. Again.
So,
but like I said, he's out there every and he's not top 10. I think he was 11th or 12th last year. He can pass, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that's going to keep Drake May pretty.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't know. I don't know how much of an upgrade Dan Moore is over Vidarian Lowe. He's an upgrade over Vidarian Lowe. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But how much of an upgrade is it? And am I really willing to pay that much for a guy that, he might be a little bit better, but he's not going to be that much better. And listen, the Ronnie Stanley thing may fall apart and it might be a complete disaster and it might be, but like for me, I'm willing to pay the premium for a guy that can be an elite level player.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's kind of where I stand on it. I understand where you're coming from with the consistency and the fact that he's out there every week. That's obviously super important, right? But I feel like I want to take the opportunity to become that much better and get myself to a point where we can be like a good, to above average to good offensive line. You know what I mean?
get it. Pittsburgh keeps drafting, offensive linemen trying to replace this kid, and they run into injury or whatever, and he just keeps running out there. It's kind of reminds me of Phil Elliott. You've been throwing these guys at me for years, and I just come to work every day with my lunch pail, and I go out there and I block.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Some numbers for this, and again, it's PFF. Take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. I never think these numbers are exact, but they give you an idea. Dan Moore, Vidarian Lowe had the exact same pass blocking grade last year, according to them. The difference, Dan Moore significantly better run blocker, but 15 points better, and also penalties. Dan Moore had 5, Vidarian Lowe had 13, which, Jesus Christ.
It's insane. It's insane that he had 13 penalties.
Yeah.
So that's like, how many yards is a holding penalty? 10 yards?
10 yards.
So
30 yards worth of penalty.
No, it's not all holding penalties. He had a bunch of false starts too.
Yeah, but eight penalty difference there. That's what, like
80 yards,
60 yards.
60 yards. Yeah, yeah.
Difference between the two players, but that's where it does it. Like Moore is better, but how much are you willing to pay for that upgrade? Especially when I thought Vidarian Lowe improved throughout the year last year.
He did. I don't mind him as a depth piece, and that's what I've said. I said all year long last season was, we were dependent on depth pieces to play starting reps, and you can't get away with that.
And so I think it's going to lead us, and of course we'll get to the draft later, but I think it'll lead us kind of this point, because Andrew says the bigger issue is and always was right tackle, and I agree with that. And this is where, if you shore up that left tackle spot in free agency, now whomever it is, whether it's Cam Robinson, whether it's Ronnie Stanley, whether it's Dan Moore, I don't care, right? If that's the guy that you think, to me, it's got to be one of those three guys. Like, unless you're trading for someone that we don't know right now, and you're thinking that guy's a better fit, whatever, right? But like, it's got to be one of those three guys. If you're shoring up left tackle, then what you can do is you can draft a guy like Armand Membu to play right tackle, and not get in a situation where you're drafting Membu and saying, oh, well, he's athletic enough, we're going to move him over to the left side. I'm not doing that again. Right? I'm not doing that. I didn't love Caden Wallace at right tackle.
Right.
I hated him at left tackle.
Right.
And I think maybe he can grow into it and be okay at right tackle at some point. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter.
That's my point. You can't find a starting caliber left tackle or right tackle in a right tackle in the 3rd and 4th round.
Right.
You can't do it. That's why that's why I was on my stump all year last year, and I was wrong. Believe me, I know I was wrong. We got we got a good young quarterback, but there's no Joe Alt in this draft.
Right.
Yeah. If we had a quarterback, he would have been 100% correct, because Alt has been a stud so far. Like that's
he had one of the best rookie seasons for an offensive lineman ever.
Well, and if we drafted him, we'd be talking about signing Sam Darnold right now.
Right. So that's the issue, right? But again, you were right about the player, just not the process, right? And I think the big thing for me is that, and the Chargers are a good example of this. Now, Joe Alt was a way safer prospect than Armand Membu.
Oh God,
right. But the point is that they were drafting 5th overall. They drafted a right tackle, 5th overall. Right. Now I know Joe Alt can play left tackle, but they drafted him specifically to play right tackle.
Yep.
Rashawn Slater's not going anywhere. Joe Alt's playing right tackle for the foreseeable future. Rashawn Slater is playing left tackle, right? And so they drafted a right tackle in the top 5. The Patriots could turn around and draft a right tackle in the top 5. They could do that, right? That's okay for them to do. The Chargers set the scene for that and then made the playoffs, right? And so to me, I look at that and say, okay, like, we need a right tackle. If you love Membu, if you think he can do it, if you think he can be an all-pro right tackle, then do it. And that's, then to me, it's like, okay, if you sign a left guard, you sign a left tackle, and you draft a right tackle, now your offensive line is fixed. Now let's see what happens with David Andrews, if he can come back healthy, whatever the case may be. But now your offensive line maybe isn't fixed, but at least you feel good about the fact that you can put a competitive offensive line out there. And then you have Vidarian Lowe as your backup left tackle. You have
Right.
Caden Wallace as your backup right tackle. You have, you know, Robinson and Cole Strange, and those
Yep.
guys are your backups, and you feel a
Right.
lot better about them as depth pieces than you do as starters. And I think
Right.
that you at least come in and you say, okay, we can field a competitive team, and then we'll go from there.
Right. But, again, I would like this handled here in free agency where it's only costing us money. And,
Right.
you bring in the Shore thing. I think the
Yeah.
Shore thing. I've been, yeah, well, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves and talking about draft picks and everything, but, I'm just don't feel comfortable about drafting a right tackle at 4 that, I would put on my Nomacek hat and, try to trade back. And if Membu is who you want to grab and, go ahead, I just think, does anybody agree with me that, writing Wallace off now is too soon as a right tackle? I mean, the kid's head was on a swivel
Yeah.
last year. I mean, he'd been a right tackle his entire life. You're thrown into a situation where Elliot Wolf thinks you can play left tackle, so that's where you're going to start out. And then the injury issues, and we all know that that sets anybody back. Never mind a lineman. When you're a lineman and you miss that time working with your partners, because that's what it is. It's one cohesive unit that has to work together. It's a lot different than if you are a running back or a wide receiver, where you just really need to take care of your own business.
I mean, I think Wallace is drawing a short straw here, but I also think you just can't let a third-round pick from a different kind of administration a year ago who barely saw the field because of injury have any impact on what you do this
Okay.
offseason. Like I think there is some upside. I never loved the pick. I think there's some upside there. I think he can be a useful player. We don't know what the floor or the ceiling is on him yet. He's really a complete question mark. And, I think you have to treat it like you don't have anyone in that spot.
Okay.
And then if he, let's say you sign a Morgan Moses to just be a stopgap right tackle for a year. And let's say you get into camp and Wallace is better than you thought. All right, maybe Wallace is just going to win the starting job and he's going to push for it. Or
That, yes.
Oh, and the other thing, what we said, let's say they sign Ronnie Stanley. This is a guy who has missed a lot of time. He's probably going to get hurt at some point, whether it's Vidarian Lowe or Caden Wallace. Like, if these guys are your backups now, okay,
Right.
you feel a lot better about what happens if someone goes down. And
Okay.
I think we've seen with an offensive line, first you got to get to 5 good guys to be a good team. But if you really want to go deep, you need 7 or 8 good guys because people
Right.
will get hurt, people will get banged up. And I'd rather have a situation here where, you draft Membu and now Membu and Wallace are both good and you're stacked at right tackle.
Right.
Than a situation where you think Wallace might be good. So you pass on Membu and then Wallace isn't. Membu
Right.
goes on to be good somewhere else. And
I think the biggest thing, and Matt, you kind of said it here, is like, I'm gonna address the right tackle position.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna give Caden Wallace every chance to be successful. Right. I'm not gonna bury him on the depth chart. I'm not gonna say you're never gonna play. I'm gonna open it up. And I'm going to say, hey, look, I know this kid, whether we draft a guy in the first round, whether we draft him in the second round, whether we sign a guy, I'm not saying, no, you're on the bench. See you later. Like, you're never going to play. I'm going to give him every opportunity to win the job. And if he does, well, then the job is his and not the other guys. And if he doesn't, then cool. I'm glad we addressed it because we were right. Right. And so I think that, having him is fine, but I think that, but I don't want to rely on him to be the starter this year. That's kind of where I'm at right now with Caden Wallace. And I do think that there is definitely some upside there. I like him. I didn't like the pick, but
no.
As I got through the year, I kind of was like, all right, kind of like this kid. And so, I want to give him a chance to play. I don't want to say right tackle is his spot to lose because I haven't seen anything and none of us have seen anything that would, kind of push us that way. And by the way, he was healthy at the end of the year.
Right.
And they were still, trotting out, Jamontre Jacobs, who's like one of the
Right.
best players I've ever seen in my entire life. So like, now maybe they didn't know
Right.
what they were doing. Coach staff last year maybe had no idea what they were doing, and that's on them. And they should have been starting him. I don't know, right? But like either way, I don't care who the guy was. The fact that he was playing over him isn't a great sign.
No, it's not. It's really not. So, but there are targets out there. I believe that they can fill out this line in a demonstrative way, in a way that
Murph, I'm sorry to interrupt. Your cat is currently trying to climb your curtains right behind you.
get down. Thank you. Pay attention to me.
It's incredible.
Yeah, they but as was said earlier, I'd like to get to the draft where the Patriots already look like they can take the field.
Yes.
I thought that was a really great statement, and that's the way that they should attack it. Whether or not they do remains to be seen. So far, the offseason, in my estimation, has been underwhelming.
Yes, and we'll see. Right, long way to go. Right, Gonzo Duke, you're totally right. Cat's the real MVP.
But they also, we aren't at free agency, so I suspect it won't be underwhelming by about 6 p.m. on Monday.
Yeah, I would agree. Now here's all right. Here's what I'm going to do, because we got to get to the draft and we got to take our ad break as well. But before we do that, I'm going to give you 3 names. Okay. I want you to tell me if you would trade for that player, and B, how much you would willing to give up for that player.
Okay.
The 3 players are DK Metcalf, Trey Hendrickson, and Brandon Ayuk. Matt, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Murph.
All right. Gotta say the first one again. I thought this was just for Murph, so I was not
sorry.
Glad
Glad you're locked in here.
I'm
just thinking about that cat.
Sorry.
So DK Metcalf.
Yep.
Trey Hendrickson, Brandon Ayuk. So A, would you want to trade for them? B, how much would you be? Jesus Christ, I can't speak. How much would you be willing to give up to get them?
So I'm going to put Ayuk and DK together. I think for those 2, I would go, a third in this year's draft plus something else. So, a third next year, a fourth next year, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Might be willing to go as high as a 2 this year, but in that case, you're also getting draft capital back this year.
Right.
You're getting a third back, so you're still keeping a top whatever pick. For those 2, Hendrickson, I don't know. I really don't know for the pass rusher, because I don't know what they want to do schematically on defense right now. So I feel like it's hard to say what the scheme fit would be. He's a really good player, though.
Right.
Probably around the same. It's probably like. I think it's still probably a third, just because that second round pick is so high this year that I just don't want to move that unless I'm, getting someone young in their prime.
There you go. The wide receivers I'm out on. They've both shown that they don't want to be here, don't want to play in the Northeast, and so no, I'm not gonna give up the capital that it would take to bring them here, just for them to be miserable. All right. And Hendrickson, yeah, I would give up a second round pick for Hendrickson.
He's a good player. He's a great player.
He's a great player. They'll find something to do with him. I'm confident that Vrabel would find the way to use this young man in an amazing way. I would definitely give up a third, maybe a second, and as Matt said, get some draft capital back for that move. Give up a second, maybe get a fourth back or a fifth back in this year's draft, or a fourth in next year's draft. But yeah, I'm gonna throw something at you guys that's a little out of the box in the same way, if you don't mind. What would you give up, and would you trade for George Pickens?
Oh boy.
I wouldn't, just because I think the common theme last year was that this wide receiver room is incredibly immature.
Mm-hmm.
and that seems like an explosive person to add to it. I will say with the caveat that if there's some kind of history, like if Vrabel is highly confident and he and Pickens have talked and there's buy-in, okay, then yeah, day three pick or third round,
Yep.
Same in the room. But yeah, that's tough for me.
I
Yeah,
think
I don't
Pickens.
know. I
Yeah.
Pickens is a unique talent at wide
Yep.
receiver. I just everything that we hear from everyone,
I know.
right, about what Vrabel wants to do is it's all about culture and culture and culture and like George Pickens is crazy,
Yeah.
right? And he's a great player, but like he will do a few things a few times, and you're just like, what in the world is George? What is he doing? He's on like a different planet, right? And so that's my one concern about him. Tony Starks is asking about Chris Olave. I love Chris Olave.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before, Matt, but like my biggest concern with Olave is like he's one hit away from like never playing again.
Never
right?
playing.
That's what worries me. If you could give up, if you're telling me I could trade a 4th round pick and get Chris Olave, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Right.
In a heartbeat. But I don't know why the Saints would ever do that. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? And so that's the thing. Just to circle back to Trey Hendrickson, just really quick. 2023, number 7 in pressure percentage, tied for 2nd in sacks, number 1 in sack percentage, number 11 in pass rush win rate. 2024, number 3 in pressure percentage, number 1 in sacks and sack percentage, number 3 in pass rush win rate. Has not missed a game or a start the past 2 seasons. Played 72% of the snaps last year and almost 68% of the snaps in 2023. The guy is an absolute stud. And I know he's 30. I get that.
Yeah.
But like you're not, and again, 38 would be tough. But like if you're gonna get 38 and a 4th round pick back for him, I'd do it.
Yeah.
And we have 2 3rd round picks. If we can trade a 3rd round pick this year and a 4th next year or something like that, I'm in.
Yep.
Just because he's that good. And I think, Gonzo, you asked about Joey Bosa. I think Bosa makes some sense. He played for Vrabel at Ohio State. I think that makes some sense. As kind of a cheaper option at this point. You know what I mean?
That's it. With Bosa, I just keep, it always runs in my head. Him yelling at Tom Brady to stop getting rid of the ball so quick.
Great game.
That was a great game.
That was
fantastic. But no, I would love to have either of them here. I think Bosa would be a fantastic veteran presence, and so would Junior. So, but yeah, no, I would bring him here. I just am out on the wide receivers that we've been talking about. Except for Pickens, it's just he was a draft crush, and I just don't know if Pittsburgh is if Tomlin wants to have another $20 million, wide receiver on his roster.
Listen, I'm still mad. They were at 21. I wanted them to take Pickens. Then they moved back to 29. I wanted them to take Pickens. Then they move up to 50, and I'm thinking, oh my God, here it is.
I think we were all together that night.
We were. I was so frustrated. I was very frustrated.
That was that was quite a night.
Yeah.
My last thing on like Ayuk here, I think Ayuk is the kind of guy who can be, top 5 receiver in the NFL. Good.
Yep.
And I get the point about him not wanting to come here before, but I also look at I think that's just how receivers are. Like Randy Moss was a distressed asset when he came to New England. Like I think receivers just get like that sometimes, and obviously there's the injury concern. But, if you're getting him for multiple years, what happens in year 1 doesn't matter that much to me. It's years 2, 3, 4 that he's going to be here, where I think he can be an elite level player for you. And so if you tell me there's a world where they can, sign Dan Moore, sign Chris Godwin, and trade for Brandon Ayuk, I don't really care.
Chris Godwin is not coming here.
There's still a chance.
Yeah, listen, we'll see. You might be right though. I'm not holding my breath for Chris Godwin, but
he'd be such a good fit. I want him.
He would. He would be a fantastic fit. Mike and I talked about him last week on Locked On Patriots, and not to shamelessly plug somebody else's show, But it's he would be he'd be a fantastic as you said veteran presence, a real adult in the room, where the opposite of Pickens.
Yes. Right.
and I would welcome it. I just don't see at this point in his career him wanting the money that badly, instead of possibly going somewhere where he could make a difference between AFC NFC title game and a Super Bowl appearance.
But I don't necessarily like that line of thinking because like that was a great argument for people not to sign with Washington last year, and they were in the NFC Championship game. Things happen fast in the
Yeah.
NFL. We have a quarterback, so
Can we see how Washington plays out this year?
Yeah. I mean,
sure,
listen.
like
Okay,
it's
I'm not a subscriber to the 1 year great run type of
I,
thing. It
I'm not
just,
either.
it happens too often, and then people regress to the means. They play a winning schedule and things move back. I did an entire thing about this about a decade ago with the Patriots, and everybody's saying that they play the tomato cans, and I showed that every division in football, first the whoever ended up first had this winning percentage, and second, third, and fourth had these winning percentages, and it basically stayed the same whether you were in the AFC East, the AFC West, the AFC North. It was basically the same. The only difference was the Patriots stayed at the top, and
Right.
in the other divisions everybody moved up and down.
Yeah. No,
So
it's a fair point. It's a fair
yeah,
point.
Um,
So
but the fact they were able to get that far, I think now Washington's not going to have any issues getting people to come there
no,
because they showed they can do it, and I think NFL players are like Chris Godwin has ring. Like, he got that ring with Brady.
yep,
He's gonna get another contract after the one he's getting now. So if he wants to ring hunt, he's still got time. He might just take, whoever is giving him the most amount of money. And
okay,
if you give me a
yeah,
team with Drake May, Chris Godwin, and a decent draft class or two, that's a team that can compete in the AFC in 2026.
okay,
yeah, it's fair. It's a fair
yep,
point. But
very fair.
you're not wrong, Murph. I think too, like, especially if you're the Patriots, just throw money at him and see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never
yeah,
know. You
no,
know what I mean? What's the worst I can say is no. I mean,
right,
it's just is what it is.
that's it.
So, all right, let's get to our ad break, and then we'll do our mock draft. And of course, our ad here is for Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. I've been playing Prize Picks all year. As you know, they now offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. And you can get withdrawals within 15 minutes of you winning. You can also mix and match your player projections from different sports. So you can combine your favorite basketball with baseball and hockey and even esports, and then much more as well. So I had a bunch of fun trying to pick times for the NFL Combine. I know a few guys also did quite well on that. Me, not so much. Not that you're surprised by that. But, here it is. So, listen, the second half of the basketball season's here. The race to the playoffs is heating up. So, Prize Picks is the best place to cash in on your favorite sport. So, don't miss your chance to cash in on the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Do you think LeBron James is going to get 24 points this week? He certainly might with Luke on his team. Giannis might go for more than 35. You can cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. What you're going to do, download the Prize Picks app, put in the promo code CLNS, and you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You do not have to win that lineup. You just have to play it. So again, download the app Prize Picks, put in the promo code CLNS, and when you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 instantly. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right. Here we are, the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to get into our draft. We're going to be running the exact same thing we did last week, going with PFF, sitting at number 4. Let's kind of see. Let's see what happens here, and we can go from there. Before we do that, Tony Starks has a really nice trade a 3rd and a 4th next year for Hendrickson. Signed Dre Greenlaw and Javarius Ward and Javon Holland and then either Stanley, Cam Robinson, and Morgan Moses. One of Stanley or Robinson, and then Morgan Moses. I like that. You get Hendrickson, you get Greenlaw, who I like a lot. We talked about him on a previous show. Ward, I think, is a guy that, went through just an awful tragedy last year, had an up and down year, last year, but I think is still a very good player. And Javon Holland, I think, gives you, a really good playmaker at safety as well. And then you fixing your offensive line, and, we're off and running. And then you walk into the draft saying, let's just pick the best player available, whoever that is, whether it's Shamar Stewart, whether it's Abdul Carter, whether it's, Will Campbell, whatever, right? You can look at it and say, we're drafting the best player available, and go from there. So, anyways, shout out to Tony Stan. Let's do it.
All right. Pat's picking fourth. We're not making any moves here, so we'll just see who's available. Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter are the first three off the board. So this is the scenario that I think most of us think the Pats are going to be in terms of who's gone.
Yes.
Murph, you are the guest, so I think we'll kind of let you guide us here in what you like. In this position, would you rather pick someone or trade? I think is my first question.
I think I'd like to trade out.
Okay.
I'm going under the assumption that we didn't get things done during free agency, and we need that offensive lineman more than we need anything else. So, and I believe we can get him later. So
okay,
I would trade out.
The team's interested in trading up in this mock. The Falcons at pick 15, the Steelers at 21, the Rams at 26, the Lions at 28, and the Eagles at 32.
Right.
I think for the sake of realism, we're going to assume the Rams, Lions, and Eagles are not actually making this trade.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I would have to reject all of those offers because it's just too far down.
Now the Falcons are where? Where are the Falcons? 15?
15.
You know what? What if we went crazy and took the Falcons offer? What if we just went nuts and took 15 and their first next year and their second? All right, and throw something else in and see if you can make it work. Throw in 10. Yeah, okay. What's that? A third next year?
What do you think about this, Murph? How's that trade look to you?
That looks pretty good to me.
So now listen, here's the thing, right? Murph, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think that they're still getting a guy that they could use that could make an impact this year, and like you said, we aren't gonna build Rome in a day. Getting that second first round pick would probably solidify this for me.
And I think I think that's the thing for me. And I think one of the things that I look at here, and I think that we've been so focused on the top of the draft. The Patriots are drafting at number 4. So obviously we've been focused on the top of the draft, clearly, right? But I think that this draft has a lot of depth in it. And what a lot of people seem to think about the draft is that from 10 to 35, there are a lot of similar players. So if you move back, you pick up, another second round pick, and then also a first round pick next year, I think you still have a chance to get a decent player at 15, and then you also can, maybe
trade
even pick up someone at in the second, or like you say, package those 2 seconds and move up back into the first.
Right.
All right. Should we offer this and see what happens?
Yeah.
All right. Trade is accepted. So we'll sim ahead to 15 here. Let's see who they traded up for. They traded up for Will Campbell in this.
Okay.
So quite a few guys off the board.
Huge mistake.
Yeah.
PFF says the top players on the board right here. Safety Malachi Starks out of Georgia. James Pierce, edge defender out of Tennessee. Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan. Luther Burden, the receiver from Missouri. And, I don't know how to say this name. Donovan Ezeriaku, edge defender from Boston College.
BC.
Yeah.
Josh Simmons also still sitting there.
Simmons here, Ibuka, Kelvin Banks, Derek Harmon, Matthew Golden, Colson Loveland, I think is kind of interesting here with Tyler Warren off the board. Oh, Jalen Walker is crazy low on PFF.
Yeah, I don't know why he's so low on PFF.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
That's insane.
Murph,
I
what do you lean here?
I know who I would take, but I'll let Murph go first.
I'm taking Starks.
You like
I'm
you like
taking.
the safety?
I like the safety pick. It's an overlooked hole on this team, and I think Starks, in the way that he can be moved around, and what the Patriots are probably going to do defensively this year, I think he would fit in fantastic.
Yeah, see, I would go secondary, but I'd take Will Johnson. I think Will
Okay.
Johnson's a certified stud. And I'm actually surprised that people are picking him around the 15s. To me, he feels like a top 10 pick. He's the best. Well, I guess Travis Hunter's probably the best corner of the draft, but he is.
Yeah.
If not for Travis Hunter, he'd be the best corner in this draft. He's a really, really good player. I like Luther Burden quite a bit. I don't know if I'd feel good about taking him at 15.
Yeah.
I like Josh Simmons a lot, but again, same thing. Like, he doesn't have a ton of experience. Hurt last year. I don't know. I think, to me at least, I would go Will Johnson here, but I don't know.
Okay.
Matt, what do you think?
So I throw in some other names. I
There
really
you go.
like the idea of Jalen Walker here. Here's the thing. I don't know what Walker's fit is and what New England's defense is going to look like this year. Like, Walker to me is a guy who would be a shoe-in if Bill Belichick's still coaching your team. I
Right.
think he to me is what like Dante Hightower would be if you built him to play in the NFL now instead of when he came out. Like, just same type of player, physical, but lighter, faster, better in coverage. I like Colston Loveland a lot, but to me, Josh Simmons at this point is something I just can't pass up. When you need tackle as badly as this team does, Simmons is a guy who,
Yeah.
might be someone you're considering at 4 without the injury issues. And if you can get
Right.
a talent that good at 15 and still have all
He's
these
somebody that I'd
picks,
like to trade back up into the first round and take a shot at,
I think this is
without a doubt.
there
I
was
think, yeah, if it
if
wasn't for the injury issues, he would probably be the best tackle in this draft.
so it broke during the combine. I believe it was Ian Rappaport said it that Simmons thinks he's going to be on the field week 1 this year. Apparently, his
Ooh.
recovery is going incredibly well. He's planning on working out at his pro day, which is basically unheard of for someone with a patella injury.
Yeah.
If all of that is true, then I feel very good about the injury status. And if that's the case, he might not even
Yeah.
be on the board at 15 when that comes around in the real draft.
Yeah. And for me personally, the only reason why I didn't consider Jalen Walker is because I'd be shocked if they actually
Yeah.
there at 15.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not realistic. And maybe Will Johnson won't be either. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I just think, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, this is one of those ones where,
Yep.
like, I could kind of see it going either way, right? I like the Starks pick. I love Will Johnson. I love Jalen Walker, right? I mean, I drafted him in one of my other ones. So, I don't know.
What do you
I
folks
think-
think?
I think Murph's the guest here, and he's heard all the arguments, and should take in everything you heard, and make a final call.
Yeah, I just think that Starks and the fact that he can play the free, he can play the strong, and you can also put him in the slot makes him the best pick right here. And
All right.
we can use the draft capital later to move back up and address another.
I will
another
also
hole.
say I do think that it's the most realistic of the picks. I think Will Johnson will be gone by this time. I
Right.
think Jalen Walker will be gone by this time. I think Malachi Starks, there's a really good chance that he lands at 15. And, it's a safety and it feels early.
Yep.
But
I know.
ask the Ravens how they feel about taking a safety early.
Thank you.
Or I mean, this is Malachi Starks can be like your Brian Branch.
Right.
He's a very talented player. I think if you are taking him with that signaling, it's a new era on the back end, and you're probably dumping at least one, if not both, of your current safeties.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go with Starks.
Do we want
I have
to
this.
trade up or just say forget it and sim to 38?
I have this on slow, so we can pause at some point and trade up.
Okay.
If we would like.
If we want. I mean, I don't know who we could theoretically even trade up for Simmons if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Let's draft Starks here.
Yeah, let's
and
do it.
Let a couple picks play out. Okay. How do we? Okay, yeah, this is where we can. So Will Johnson's the next guy. Boston College edge defender. Kenneth Grant. Is this where we? Is this probably where we'd want to move up to?
Where are we at 20 right now?
Yeah.
So we take what, 38? What would you
Let's
do? 38 in one of our thirds? Would that be
Yeah.
enough?
Let's do it. Just okay. So 38 and 46 would get it. 38 and 77.
Let's try it. I don't think that would work, but let's try it.
It worked.
All
There's
right.
Simmons here.
Yeah.
And then take Josh Simmons. I think
Josh
Simmons.
Simmons.
I think Simmons makes a ton of sense. Again, I think Walker would make sense too, but Jalen
Yeah.
Walker's not going to be there at 20.
Where did Banks go?
He's still on the board.
He's still on the board. Ooh.
Oh, he ended up going down at 29.
I didn't realize that we took Simmons over Banks, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I would take Simmons over
those of
him
you
in a
that
heartbeat.
know me out there do know that I feel that Banks is the best tackle in this draft, and
Interesting.
I do. He's just he has the size, he has the length. His pass pro numbers are just staggeringly better than everybody else's. And like I said, that I'm not looking for a bulldozer out there. I'm looking for somebody that's going to keep my franchise quarterback that I almost didn't have last year.
Right.
If everybody listened to me, healthy for a decade, and I think he could do that.
And by the way, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls that are watching this draft could be completely moot, right?
Yeah.
You talk about, if Javon Holland comes here this week,
Right.
we're not drafting Malachi Starks in the first round.
No.
Right. If they sign, Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses, they're probably not trading back into the first round to draft Josh Simmons, right? So so this could all change, but I think right now, based on what the Patriots are right this second, I think that both of those picks made a ton of sense. All right, we're here at 46.
Wish I could see this board better.
I know I can't see it at all.
Can't
It
see
looks
it.
like some Knight guy from Knight from South Carolina?
Is that better?
No, that is better.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Demetrius Knight, linebacker from South Carolina. Alec Ayamanor, the wide receiver from Stanford. Trey Amos, corner from Ole Miss. Landon Jackson, edge defender from Arkansas. Stephon Revel, corner from ECU. Those are the top 5 on the board, according to PFF. There's the edge defender from Ole Miss, Princely. You got Shamar Turner, Alfred Collins, Cam Scadaboo. I don't think Cam Scadaboo is going to go this high.
I don't think so
JTT
either.
from Ohio State, Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, I don't think we'd.
I love Schlesinger so much, but it's too early for Schlesinger.
Now, a pair of names. Is he still, or did he already go? Did Jaden Higgins already go? Yeah, he did.
He did.
36, and Besh went to 45. This is the second time we've done one of these mocks, and Besh went with the pick before us.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's low on PFF's board, but Jalen Noel is someone I would consider here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad take. Let's see. Just position wise.
I like Landon Jackson as well, by the way.
Yes.
Really good athlete.
Same. So Gonzo Duke mentions Mike Green. Mike Green is a guy that as a player, I think is worthy of a pick like this for sure.
Yep.
There were some worrisome reports that came out about Mike Green that I think might have him off the Patriots radar completely. So we don't need to get into the details, but we'll leave it at that. That I don't think he's going to be a guy the Patriots are going to draft. So what are you feeling here? I'm down with Landon Jackson if you want to take an edge.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I think it's a position that we haven't addressed yet. I think it's an important position for the Patriots. And I'd be down with that.
Yeah. All right, Landon Jackson it is
Landon
at
Jackson
46.
it is.
And by the way, in this mock, Shadur Sanders lasts all the. It won't let me scroll up while it's going. Shadur Sanders went in the 40s in this mock.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
him
let
going.
me scroll back up to find who took him. Oh, the Jets at 42. That'd be fun.
Oh my God,
All
Jack
right,
Sawyer. I love it.
69. The first
Nice.
first 4 picks of the round. JTT, Ursa Reed, Jalen Milroe to the Browns, and Josh Farmer to the Raiders. So that's how the round starts. Scadaboo still on the board. Jack Sawyer, pair of Tennessee guys. Norman Lott, the defensive lineman, and Dylan Sampson, the halfback. Kyle Kennard is here. Benjamin Morrison's here. Josiah
Yep.
Stewart. Mason Taylor is a name that stands out to me here.
Mhm.
Do you guys know the connection that he and Vrabel have?
No.
Apparently, Vrabel and Jason Taylor went through a lot of the combine drills together because they were at the bottom of the alphabet together and became friends through that. Then this is Jason Taylor's kid at tight end.
That's Jason Taylor's kid.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. We'll just made that pick, and that I was gonna say you want someone for the receiving core or whatever. I think that's good.
That makes sense. I like Marcus Mbu quite a bit, but I
Yeah.
don't see him as a tackle. I see him probably as a guard.
Right.
In our last mock, we took Cam Williams at I think it's 77 as the tackle, but we don't need a tackle at this point. We've already drafted one.
Right.
And so I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I love Ozzie Trapillo, but again, like that's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Jalen Noel is also off the board here. He went at 62 to the Bills, which I hate. That's awful.
Yeah, that's terrible for the Patriots.
Yeah. All right, Mason Taylor, the pick at 69. Pat's next on the board at 105.
Yeah, 105, right? Because we traded 77.
Yeah, so wait for the board to trickle on down there. Let's see if there's anyone. Oh, Harold Fannin went at 102. Devin Neal, who I took in one of my mocks, went at 100. Tez Johnson at 99 to San Francisco. I don't see that.
Wow.
Fit.
No.
Doesn't.
I don't think that's a fit. All right, 105. Kamen Rucker, edge from North Carolina. Isaiah Bond, the receiver here, and Andrew Makuba, the safety, 2 Texas players here. Jonas. Oh, we already took a safety, so forget that. Hunter Helm is here. I want to double up on tight ends.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I'll take Riley Leonard if you want.
But
I'm not an Isaiah Bond fan, but at this point in the draft,
yeah,
I would not hate taking that chance.
You know,
it's a whole lot of speed.
Yeah, I'm really not an Isaiah Bond fan.
I also think too, and Andrew mentions Peebles. I also think too, defensive line may not be a terrible idea.
No, I love Peebles.
Oh wait, I have my pick.
Who is it?
It's JJ Pagoo.
Oh, Pegues?
Pegues, yeah, thank you. Yes, from Ole Miss.
Do you know about this guy, Murph?
No. Let's talk about him a little bit.
So he is a what do you call it? Nothing like this won't look like anything spectacular because this doesn't show you the full picture. But he's kind of a run-stuffing developmental defensive lineman 3-tech. But he also let me pull up what the exact number was so I can get it for you.
So
okay,
he played for 5 years, 2 years at Auburn, 3 at Ole Miss.
Okay,
and he had 7 rushing touchdowns last year.
Whoa!
So
yeah. Oh yeah! Oh
yes!
Yeah!
At the combine, they sometimes ask players to run drills for other positions, and they asked him to run drills at
the fullback kid. Oh my God!
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. I work days now, and I missed a lot of combine stuff. But no, I caught some. Yeah. Ooh.
Who take him?
Intriguing.
I love it.
Intriguing.
I'm all in. Our next pick is what, 140 something? Like he's not going to be there.
He's not going to be there. But
may not be what we need, but
yeah. But you gotta have fun, and you gotta
I'm down. It's a mock draft. It's not real. So
yeah.
I think we do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Shake it up.
Pegues at 105. Yeah, next pick's 145 here. So
People are going
quite
to
a few
absolutely
players.
despise this mock draft. It's going to be great.
Let me know where
It's gonna
Peebles
be very
went.
fun.
I got to know where Peebles went because I really love him. I really love
Who?
his game.
Peebles from Vatech.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. My cousins went to Virginia Tech, and they hate when I say Vatech. They just call it Tech.
Too bad.
But obviously, they just call it
Tech,
Tech. They're
yeah.
from Virginia.
Oh, 108 to the Bills.
To the Bills again.
Yeah.
Flipping
Another
Bills.
guy to the
Fucking
Bills.
Bills, man.
Riley Leonard to the Giants. That fits.
Yeah.
That fits.
Yep.
By the way, can we just talk about the fact that I was 1,000% right about Quinn Ewers? Like 1,000%
Oh, yeah.
right about Quinn
You
Ewers.
were.
I what an idiot for going back to school.
Yep.
What an absolute
Just
moron.
absolute moron.
Should have gone into the draft last year.
Yep.
Would have been
Okay.
a third round pick.
Yep.
Instead, now here he is in the 5th round still, and this is probably where he's going to get picked.
Right.
All right. I think we have our pick here at 145.
What do we got?
May I submit Michigan running back Kalel Mullings?
Thank you.
Stud. He was amazing for Michigan this year. Tough, powerful, physical runner.
All right. Write him in. Let's do it. We got
All
our
right.
fullback and our running back.
Fullback and our running back. No offense, Ramondre. Don't take it the wrong way.
Got to bring back Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. What's he up to these days?
No, my Lord, the law firm. I saw James White just accepted a job at Illinois.
Did he? Good for him.
Yeah, the assistant running back coach at Illinois.
Yeah. That's
cool.
You're never going to replace James White.
No, God.
We're going to keep looking and looking and looking, and it's just never going to happen.
They did it for years, though.
Mr. White. Oh.
You know?
Yeah, but yeah.
Between Kevin Falk and Shane Vereen and then James White, like Danny Woodhead, they always seem to find
Love
that
them
guy.
all. They always seem, but those people are out of the building now.
Yep.
All
right, we're at pick 219 here, and we got two in quick succession. We got 219 and 222.
I feel like we got to get a. Nagan points out Deion Lewis as well. Thank you, Nagan.
Yeah.
Good pull there, bud.
We got Miles Frazier, the guard from LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Played some left guard and some right guard. He's well graded as a pass blocker according to PFF. Not so much as a run blocker. A linebacker from Kentucky, Dumas Johnson. Let's see. What's his weight? 245. I feel like that's heavy for very
at 6'1" too.
And can we talk about how small Carter really is? While we're going through this,
Abdul,
yeah. It really would give me pause if he was there, and the Patriots are there, as to whether or not to take him. He didn't break out until he moved out to end. And do you guys think that he's big enough to play end in the NFL?
If he wins as a pass rusher, yes.
He has to win as a pass rusher. I don't think he's going to be a true edge setting edge, right? He's not going to be like a defensive end or whatever, but
he'll be and he'll win against the run as a penetrator. Just getting behind the line of scrimmage and making plays. Another name here, Holland Pierce, tackle from Rutgers.
Yep.
Big.
Thank you.
6'8".
I've been talking about this kid for weeks.
Yes.
I love him as a project. He's there. I would grab him right now. I think he has huge upside, and could end up being a 5-year plus swing tackle for us. Coda, you agree? Little Coda man agrees.
I'll take Pierce at 219. Two safeties go off the boards. Not a lot changes.
All right, we got the best safety in the draft.
Yeah, we got Miles Frazier still on the board, the guard from LSU, which is interesting. Jimmy Horn Jr., Colorado wide receiver. I think there's a couple. LeJontay Wester, the Colorado wide receivers down here too, and there might be a third. They might have already come off the board.
I like the idea of doubling up, and Andrew mentioned earlier, doubling up on the offensive line and taking Frazier.
Right.
I agree.
And just getting more depth for that offensive line. Right.
I mean, it just ate us up so much last year. let's just make the cattle call and bring in as many as we
Yeah.
can.
And I honestly don't know if
Right.
Robinson can play.
And I don't, and right, and I have no problem with letting go anybody that is on this roster right now.
Yeah.
For one of these kids.
So we're jumping
Frazier's
into our
the
left.
And I
pick.
love Cole Strange. You guys
Yeah.
all know
Yeah.
how much I love Doctor Strange.
Yeah. But let's
All right, 240. So
you want
last
to take a
pick
look at
here.
what wide receivers are out there, just like go position by position and just take a look at wideouts. Just
So
because
we'll
we
start
haven't
with wide
we
receiver.
didn't take one, did we? We haven't taken a wideout, right?
No. Theo Weiss is interesting wide receiver from Mizzou.
Yeah, he's
Tall
another
and skin-
contested catch guy.
Yeah, 6'2", 192.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he really came on at the end of the season.
Yeah.
The contested, yeah. He doesn't. He's skinny. He doesn't win the contested catches. I think it's his issue.
All right.
Oh, okay. Right.
Kyron Lacey, who I believe is going to be off their board, though.
Yeah.
Have to get into him. Zachary Franklin, Rock Taylor, Jackson Meeks, Taquan Felton, Corey Brooks. There's Moose Muhammad.
Is that Mushin's son?
Yeah.
Like that pedigree.
Moose Muhammad, the guy who has the longest touchdown reception in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Bryson Nesbitt we took last week. He is on the board at tight end. I don't think we need more offensive line. Let's look at corners that are here. I love Jabbar Muhammad. There's Fentrell Cypress from Florida State.
I still can't believe Jabbar Muhammad is that low. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get that, man. I don't think he actually will go this low either.
No.
Tommy
I just
Hill
don't understand why he is.
Yeah. Tommy Hill started at wide receiver and cornerback in his career.
Interesting.
6'0", 205. Physical. Strong run defender and tackler. This sounds like type of corner that they're going to want.
Andrew points out that they met with Mac McWilliams. You want to check him out, see what he's all about?
Yeah, Mac McWilliams. He's 5'10", 185, so a smaller guy. Really good grade last year by PFF. Really good in zone and man. Not as good of a run defender.
Yeah, but for a coverage guy, decent.
Yeah.
I'd be down with either one of those guys. Whether you want to go Mac here or whether you want to go Tommy Hill, either one's fine with me. It doesn't matter. I think corner makes sense to take.
I like Hill.
You like Hill?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm down with Hill. All right. So this will finalize the draft class. We're bookending it with defensive backs.
I love it. Let's see what they say.
I like anybody who spells their name with an I.
Okay. All right. D+ on Pagoo. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
And Mason Taylor with a C, but that's okay. I mean, other than that, you get an A- for Starks, an A for Josh Simmons, B+ for Mullings, B+ for Pierce, A for Frazier, and then a C for Tommy Hill. I mean, C it's the very end of the draft.
Their grades are irrelevant.
You just taking guys, right? I do think that I really like the trade that we made in the first round.
Yep.
I think that a trade like that makes sense if you can get what you got back, if you can get that, right? And then you trade 38 and 77. So basically what you're doing in that situation is that you're getting an extra second round pick, and then you're basically trading that second round pick for the third round pick that you got for
and we ended up with Josh Simmons, and
a guy that we were thinking about at 15.
A guy that we're thinking about at 15 anyways. And I wish I'd known Banks was on the board right there.
Yeah, you would have been pushing for it.
I like Simmons more than Banks personally.
Yeah, I know. But personally, I do. I just think the injury thing. I'm not sure that he's going to be ready to start the season. And if we're going into this draft thinking the Patriots didn't do enough in free agency to fill out that spot, I want the sure thing there week one.
Right. It's true, and I don't blame you
know?
for that. I also
Yeah.
think I
But
think
I
too.
do think, I mean, Ohio State and linemen are, it's just been a factory
Right.
there for decades.
When I also
And
wonder too, will he if he's ready for his pro day, then I feel a heck of a lot better about him being
yeah,
ready for day one.
right.
Yeah,
But I
that's a
also
pick
but I
made
also
with
feel worse about him being there at, at 20.
I
He
agree with
might
you.
go
yeah.
quicker than that.
Right.
You
I
probably got to
agree with
take
you
him at
there.
15.
Yeah, we probably would
But
have had
then
to take him at 15.
But then if you're trading up, you're moving up for a different player.
Right.
You can move up for an edge if you want to. You can move up for a corner. You can move up for a
For a
receiver if you want
defensive
to do those
tackle.
things. Or you can just sit and wait and
Yeah.
have all these picks.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just take, 38 and 46 and 69 and 77.
I can't
So
believe they gave us a D+ for JJ.
I know.
I mean, I
Well,
can't,
yeah. And
what are you
again,
going
you're
to
at
do?
105, right? I
Yeah,
just I think for the type of attitude that you want to build here
right.
in New England,
Bingo.
that's the type of guy that you like. He's not the best defensive lineman in the draft. Obviously, he's a decent defensive lineman, but the fact that he'll literally start at fullback. Like
Yep.
he'll be your starting fullback.
Yep.
And then he'll play some D tackle too. Like that's great. I love that. And a guy that can do those things. And so, that's a fun one.
All right.
But
Well,
anyways,
before we go, I want to ask you guys: do you think there's a shot in hell that we get Zach Bond?
Oh, he already signed in Philly.
Oh, did he? All
Yeah.
right. This
They-
is
they-
terrible.
so then no,
I
I don't.
apologize. All right. No.
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm dying tonight, guys. I'm sorry. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I worked
Oh,
a split
goodness.
shift today. Did the show with Mike, and I ended up having to go back to work at 3 o'clock this afternoon to work till 7. And I am after working till 7, and I'm just exhausted. I'm not.
Two shifts,
Just
two
exhausted.
podcasts,
Yep.
a machine. He's a machine
And
over there.
nah,
ladies and
Murph
gentlemen.
just
yeah.
loves the fans this much. He's got
That's
to.
true.
I do. I do.
true.
And I'm sorry if I was off my game a little.
No. You were just fine, Murph. It was great.
But no, thank you guys for having me. It's
Yes.
always a blast to sit down with you two. I hope we do the live show on draft night again, as we have over the last 3 years. It's been a blast. If you folks out there that are watching tonight have missed it, I feel bad for you. Please check it out this year, whether the guys ask me back or not.
So it's an unfortunate turn of events this year. We're not doing the live draft.
Oh,
The draft is on my daughter's birthday,
oh,
and we are going to New York City to see a few Broadway shows. And so,
Okay.
I said to my daughter today, I said, I haven't missed the draft. I haven't missed the first round of the draft in 20 years.
right.
And this is the first time I'm missing the first round of the NFL draft. I go, that's how much I love you. Is that we're going
Completely
to,
understand.
and then
Girl
I haven't even
dads
told-
rule.
I haven't even told Matt this yet, but we got invited to a wedding on April 26th, the last day of the NFL draft. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this? This is crap.
Pat leaving me out.
And my
hanging out
wife
to
was
dry
like-
to make.
My wife is
Oh,
like,
no.
we don't have to go if you don't want to. It's like it's her friend from school. She's like, if you don't want to go, I'm like, I'm not going to say no to a
Right.
wedding that you want to go to because of the NFL draft.
Right.
That's insane. Like,
Especially day 3. If it was
Right.
day
Correct.
1, then maybe.
Yes.
But-
Day
Right.
one, then yeah, we got something to talk about here.
Right.
But day one
Day
also,
three,
when
then.
it's your daughter's birthday, you
Yeah,
you
it is
go
what
and
it
you
is.
spend the day
Yeah,
with
dude.
your daughter.
Yep.
But do you know what shows you're going to see?
So I think so she is going to see what the heck is it? I think they're going to see Gypsy. I think her and my wife and my other daughter are going to see Gypsy, and I believe that me and my son are going to see the Dungeons and Dragons show. There's like a live interactive
Really?
D&D Broadway show. I guess it's
Oh,
really
all right.
people say it's really cool. And so I was like, all right, while we're
Yeah.
there, like, I guess I could take them to a show. Because then otherwise, what are we going to do? We're just going to sit in the hotel room.
Just
You know what I mean?
piggyback. The second night of the draft, I will be watching The Princess Bride in New Haven
I love
with
it.
my daughter at Yale,
See?
where Carrie Ewells is doing a Q&A afterwards. And,
No.
yeah.
That's
And
so cool.
she got me this for Christmas. This is the one thing that my daughter and I always bonded over was the fact, back in the, the Princess Bride's on, Dad. So we'll sit down and we'll watch it and we'll have a good time. And it's her favorite movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just a dad daughter thing, and we're gonna have a blast doing that.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That's so good.
But I'm
Meanwhile,
gonna tell her about that D&D because she's a huge D&D girl.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make a trip to New York and go see that. I'll get her that for her birthday.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
I won't be missing the draft for it, but at some point that week, I am trying to see. They're putting Revenge of the Sith back in theaters. So
Yep.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
I
All
like
right.
it.
Underrated movie.
Yeah.
as a kid growing up, that
Yeah.
was my favorite Star Wars movie.
I
That
get-
was
I-
like cool. Like the lightsaber duel at the end.
Yeah.
just like-
For your for me it'll always be
Empire.
Empire. But for your generation, yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I get it.
I watched the behind the scenes documentary about that movie way too many times. Just how they did like the choreography for the lightsaber duels. If that tells you anything about the person I am, not only have I seen the movie a bunch, I've
Okay.
watched the behind the scenes probably as many times.
That definitely
Okay.
checks out. Yep.
All those missed swings and where
Oh
Yeah,
my
right.
God, Ewan and Hayden had like
yeah.
bruises all over them from it.
Oh God.
Because they're going
Crazy.
full speed. None of that's
Yeah.
sped up. Like
No.
that's
No,
Yeah.
it was really impressive. It was really impressive. But
they
no,
trained for months.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
cool.
I can
It's pretty
imagine.
cool.
Yeah,
I can
and
imagine.
then I watched that, and then I made my aunt go videotape my cousin and I doing a lightsaber duel that I choreographed in our front yard. So
I love it. I love it. It's great stuff. That's great stuff. All right.
I'm
Let's
sorry, I
get
have
the
a
heck outta here.
2-year-old running around back here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And it's been fantastic. Who napped far too long this afternoon.
Yep.
So there you
That'll
go.
have fun with
happen.
that.
Yep. So I don't care. His mother doesn't have to work tomorrow, so I don't just keep him up. Another
Yep.
Oreo, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, folks, if you're out there, if you're not following me already, or if you were in the past and are looking and wondering, yes, I am still alive. Just like Tristan Cassass, I'm still alive somewhere. Nobody knows where he is, but yeah, follow me on Zitter at tmurph207s.
Yes. Make
The
sure
new
you do
account.
that. If you were following him before, he just
Mhm.
fell off the face of the earth. He's still there. Make
Yep.
sure you go and follow him at again, just add that S right on the end and you'll be good to go.
That's on for savings.
Yep. Anyways, well, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you to the chat for coming through and giving us some good recommendations for our draft picks. And thank you, Murph, for coming on. We appreciate it. Always love having you.
Can't believe
And,
Zach Bond signed already.
I know.
What the hell?
Can't believe how we paid a linebacker.
Right?
I know. You know what they said? That someone posted this, and I forget who it was. Posted. They said since the Bengals have signed Joe Burrow, they've signed one player with over $40 million guaranteed.
Wow.
Since
Really?
the Eagles signed Jalen Hurts to a massive deal, they've signed 8.
Wow. Howie
And so-
Roseman is just he's just a savant. I don't
Yeah.
know how he does it. I don't know how he balances it out. He gets it done, and he's the best in the business right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the Bengals ownership also is not helping that. Which
And
I
they're
Oh
willing
no.
to spend.
Well,
And
I
that's-
mean,
But I do
Yeah.
think that stat right there shows the difference in drafting between the two teams.
Absolutely.
Because the Eagles are largely, or drafting or your other ways of adding guys. Because
But-
Zach Bond, you're giving a ton of money to is someone
Right.
who you scooped up off the reclamation pile and
Right.
fixed.
well, my
Yep,
man
Bengals
BK, BK, who I wanted to come in here, B King, I wanted to come in here as the defensive coordinator, was the reason for that.
Yeah.
He really resurrected that defense, especially the linebacking core. What he was able to, and it just goes to Howie again, bringing in the right people.
True. So
You
hopefully we can get some of that magic up here in New England. So
Yep. Mike Brown is the cheapest mother on the planet.
that's very
He's
true.
just
It's a
cheap.
great note to end the show on.
Yep.
Yep, it sure is. So anyways, all right. Well, be good to each other. Go Pats,
night,
and we'll
folks.
see you guys next week.